Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Go Premanande.
Hari Bol.
All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees of you, Gaura.
Hari Bol.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, welcome back to Srimad Bhagavatam study class. Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 6, Conversation between Anarada and Vyasadeva. Today's verses 21 to 24. So, it's 21. Handa Asmin Janmani Bhavan Mam sorry Ma Drashtum Iha Arhasi Avipakwa Kashayanam Durdarsho Aham Kuyoginam Handasmin Janmani Bhavan Mamam Drashtum Iharhasi Hiharati Mamam Drashtum Iharhati Avipakwa Kashayanam Durdashoham Kuryoginam Andasmin Janmani Bhavan Mamam Drashtum Iharhati Avipakwa Kashayanam Durdashoham Kuyoginam Andasmin Janmani Bhavan Mamam Drashtum Iharhati Avipakwa Kashayanam Durdashoham Kuyoginam Krishna, Shailaja Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Handasmin Janmani Bhavan. Namam Drashtum Iharhati.
Mamam Drashtum.
Oh, എൻ്റെ പുസ്തകത്തിൽ മാം എന്നാണ്. അവിപക്വ കഷായാണാം ദുർദർശോഹം യോഗം. ഹരേ കൃഷ്ണ.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Mataji.
Correct.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Handasmin Janmani Bhavan Mamam Drashtumiharhati Avipakwa Kashayanam Durdarshoham Kuyoginam. Hare Krishna.
Ibo, Elinda Maji.
Hare Krishna. Hantasmin Janmani Bhavan Mamam Drashtum Iharhati Avipakva Kashayanam Durdarsho Aham Kuyoginam. Hare Krishna.
You can pronounce it together. Durdarshoham.
Durdarshoham. Yeah.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Right. Snigdha Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hantasmin Janmani Bhavan Mamam Drashtum Iharhati Avipakwa Kasayanam Durdarshoham Kuyoginam.
Right. Can read.
May I translation? O Narada, I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material traits can hardly see me. Purport. His Divine Grace, ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. The personality of Godhead is described in Bhagavad Gita as the most pure, the supreme, and the absolute truth. There is no trace of a tinge of materiality in his person, and thus one who has the slightest tinge of material affection cannot approach him. The beginning of devotional service starts from the point when one is freed from at least two forms of material modes, namely the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. The result exhibited by the signs of being freed from kama and lobha, that is to say, one must be freed from the desires of sense gratification and avarice of sense gratification. The balanced mode of nature is goodness, and to be completely freed from all material tinges is to become free from the mode of goodness also. To search the audience of God in a lonely forest is considered to be in the mode of goodness. One can go out into the forest to attain spiritual perfection, but that doesn't mean that one can see the Lord personally there. One must be completely freed from all material attachment and be situated on the plane of transcendent, which alone will help the devotee to gain personal touch with the personality of Godhead. The best method is that one should live at a place where the transcendental form of the Lord is worshipped. The temple of the Lord is a transcendental place, whereas the forest is materially good habitation. A neophyte devotee is always recommended to worship the deity of the Lord rather than go to the forest to search out the Lord. Devotional service begins from the process of archana, which is better than going out in the forest. In this present life, which is completely freed from all material hankerings, Sri Narada Muni doesn't go into the forest, although he can turn very place into Vaikuntha by his presence only. He travels from one planet to another to convert men, God, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, Rishis, Munis, and all other to become devotees of the Lord. By his activities, he has engaged many devotees like Prahlada Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and many other in the transcendental service of the Lord. A pure devotee of the Lord therefore follows in the footsteps of the great devotees like Narada and Prahlada and engages his whole time in glorifying the Lord by the process of kirtana. Such a preaching process is transcendental to all material qualities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verse 22. Sagrat
Sakrut
yad
yad
darshitam
darsitam
rupam
rupam
edat
etat
kamaya
kamaya
te
te
nagha
anagha
matkama
matkamaha
nage
sanagi
sadhu
sadhu
sarvan
sarvan
munchadi
munchati
dhrichayan
harshayan
sagridyadashidam rupam
Sakrit Edarsidam
sakrutyadarsitam rupam
Ruvamedat kamayate nagha
etat kamayate nagha
Matkamashanage sadhu
Matkamasanagai
matkamasanagi
sadhu
sadhu
Sarvan munjadi hrichayan
sarvan munchati
Sarvan
Sagridyadashidam rupam
Sakrit Edarsidam
sakrutyadarsitam rupam
Edat kamayate nagha
Edat
etat
Kamayate
kamayate
Anagha
nagha
Matkamashanage sadhu
Matkamasanagai
matkamahasanagi
sadhu
sadhu
Sarvan munjadi hrichayan
Sarvan Munchati Hruchayan.
Sakridyaddarshitam rupam
Satyadarshitang
edat kamayate nagha
etat kamaya tenagha
matkamasanagai sadhu
matkamahasanakai sadhu
sarvan munjari hrichayan.
sarvan munchati hrichayan.
Shailaja Maji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sagar Yadarsidam Yupam Etat Kamaya Denakha Matkama Sanagai Sadhu Sarvan Munjadi Hruchayan. Hare
Very
Krishna.
good. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Maji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। सगृद्यदर्शितं रूपम् एतत् कामाय ते नघा मत्कामः शनगैः साधु सर्वान् मुञ्चति हृच्छयान्। हरे कृष्ण।
Right. Snigdha Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Satkruti Yaddarshitam Rupan Etat Kamaya Ten Nagha Matkamah Sanakahi Sadhu Sarban Munchati Hrichayan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Milinda Maji.
Hare Krishna. Sakradiyaddarshitam rupam etat kamayate nagha matkamah shanake sadhu sarvan munchati richayan.
Right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Right. You can read.
Sakrit, once only, yat, that, darshitam, shown, rupam, form, etat, this is, kamaya, for hankerings, te, your, anagha, O virtuous one, mat, mind, kamaha, desire, shanake, by increasing, sadhu, devotee, sarvan, all, munchati, gives away, hrit, shayan, material desires. Translation: O virtuous one, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desire for me, because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji Ki Jai. A living being cannot be vacant of desires. He is not a dead stone. He must be working, thinking, feeling, and willing. But when he thinks, feels, and wills materially, he becomes entangled. And conversely, when he thinks, feels, and wills for the service of the Lord, he becomes gradually freed from all entanglement. The more a person is engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord, and more he acquires a hankering for it. The more he acquires a hankering for it. That is the transcendental nature of godly service. Material service has satiation, whereas spiritual service of the Lord has neither satiation nor end. One can go on increasing his hankerings for the loving transcendental service of the Lord, and yet he will not find satiation or end. By intense service of the Lord, one can experience the presence of the Lord transcendently. Therefore, seeing the Lord means being engaged in His service because His service and His person are identical. The sincere devotee should go on with sincere service of the Lord. The Lord will give proper direction as to how and where it has to be done. There was no material desire in Narad, and yet, just to increase his intense desire for the Lord, he was so advised. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verse number 23. Sat sevaya
Sat Sevaya
adhirghaya
Adhiraya
api
Api
jata
Jata
mayi
Mai
dhrida
Dridam
Dridha
mati
Matihi
titva
Hitva
avadyam
Avadyam
imam
Imam
lokam
Lokam
anda
Grantha
majjanatam
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 asi
Asi
Satsevaya dirgayapi.
सत्सेवया
Satsevaya
दीर्घया
dirghayapi.
Jadamayi dhramati.
Jatamayi
दृढामति
dridhamatihi.
Hitva avadyam imam lokam.
हित्वा
Hitva
वद्यमिमं
avadyamimam lokam.
Gandhamajjanadamasi.
गन्धामज्जनतामसि
Gandhamajjanatamasi.
Satyaseva dirgayapi.
तत्सेवया दीर्घयापि
सत्सेवया
Jadamayi dhramati.
जादामयि
Jatamayi
दृढामति
dridhamatihi.
Hitva avadyamimam lokam.
हित्वा
Hitva
वद्यमिमं लोकम्
avadyamimam lokam.
Gandhamajjanadamasi.
गन्धामज्जनतामसि
Gandhamajjanatamasi.
Satyasevaya dirgayapi.
तत्सेवया
Satyasevaya
दीर्घयापि
dirghayapi.
Jadamayi dhramati.
जादामयि
Jatamayi
दृढामति
dridhamatihi.
Hitva avadyamimam lokam.
हित्वा
Hitva
वद्यमिमं लोकम्
avadyamimam lokam.
Gandhamajjanadamasi.
गन्धामज्जनतामसि
Right. Shailaja
हरे
Maji.
कृष्णा प्रभु जी हरे
Yes.
कृष्णा प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय सत्सेवया दीर्घयापि जादामयि दृढामति हित्वा वद्यमिमं लोकम् गन्धामज्जनतामसि हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. Yes, Shimaji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तत्सेवया दीर्घयापि जाता मयि दृढामति हित्वा वद्यमिमं लोकं गन्धामज्जनतामसि हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Yes, Melinda Maji.
हरे कृष्ण तत्सेवया दीर्घयापि जाता मयि दृढा मतिः हित्वा वद्यम् इमं लोकं गन्धामज्जनतामसि हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Yes, Snigdha Maji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय सत्सेवया दीर्घयापि जाता मयि दृढामतिः हित्वा अबध्यम् इमं लोकं गन्तामज्जनम नतामसि नताम् असि
Majjanadam. Majjanadam.
मज्जनताम् असि
Yes. Yes.
synonyms satsevaya by service of the absolute truth adirghaya for some days api even jata having attained mai unto me dridha firm matihi intelligence hitva having given up avadyam deplorable imam this lokam material worlds ganta going to madjanatam my associates asi become translation by service of the absolute truth even for a few days a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me consequently he goes on to become my associate in the transcendental world after giving up the present deplorable material worlds. Purport His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Serving the absolute truth means rendering service unto the absolute personality of Godhead under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, who is a transparent medium between the Lord and the neophyte devotee. The neophyte devotee has no ability to approach the absolute personality of Godhead by the strength of his present imperfect material senses, and therefore, under the direction of the spiritual master, he is trained in transcendental service of the Lord, and by such training, even for some days, the neophyte devotee gets intelligence in such transcendental service, which leads him ultimately to get free from perpetual inhabitation in the material worlds and to be promoted to the transcendental world to become one of the liberated associates of the Lord in the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 24. Madhir.
मदेर
Matir
Mayi.
मयि
Mai
Nibadhva. Nibadha.
निबद्ध
Nibadha
Iyam.
इयं
Yam
Na.
na
na
विबध्येदा
विपद्येत
कर्हिचित्
कर्हिचित्
कर्हि प्रजा
प्रजा
सर्गा
sarga
विरोधे
nirodhe
nirodhe
अभि
अपि
api
स्मृति
स्मृति
smriti
च
cha
मद्
mad
madan
अनुग्रहात्
anugraha
मदिर्मयि निबद्धेयम्
matir
न विबध्येदा कर्हिचित्
न
na vibhadyeda
karhichi
प्रजा सर्गा निरोधेऽपि
praja
praja sarga
nirodhe
nirodhevi
स्मृतिश्च मदनुग्रहा
pratischa
madanagraha
मदिर्मयि निबद्धेयम्
madirmayi badheyam
न विबध्येदा कर्हिचित्
न
na
विपद्येत
vibhadyeda karhichi
प्रजा सर्गनिरोधेऽपि
praja sarga nirodhevi
स्मृतिश्च मदनुग्रहात्
smritischa madanagraha
मदिर्मयि निबद्धेयम्
madirmayi
न विबध्येदा कर्हिचित्
na
na
vibhadyeda
प्रजा सर्गा निरोधेऽपि
praja sarga nirodhevi
स्मृतिश्च मदनुग्रहात्
smritischa madanagraha
शैलजा माताजी
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय मदर्मयेन बद्धेयं न विबध्येदा कर्हिचे प्रजा सर्ग निरोधेवी स्मृतिश्च मदनुग्रहात् हरे कृष्णा
जय श्री माताजी
हरे कृष्ण जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय मतिर्मयि निबद्धेयं न विपद्येत कर्हिचित् प्रजासर्गनिरोधेऽपि स्मृतिश्च मदनुग्रहात्। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा स्निग्धा माताजी
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय मतिर्मयि निवेद्यं न विपद्येत कर्हिचित् प्रजासर्गा निरोधोऽपि स्मृतिश्च मदनुग्रहात्। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण यस मिलिंदा माताजी
Hare Krishna. Matirmayi nibhaddeyam na vipadyata akarhichit praja sarga nirodhe pratischa
मद अनुग्रहा
mad anugrahat
right
mati intelligence mai devoted to me nibaddha engaged iyam this na never vipadyate vipadyata separate karhijit at any time praja living beings sarga at the time of creation nirodhe also at the time of annihilation api even smritihi remembrance cha and mat mine anugraha by the mercy of. Translation: Intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time. Even at the time of creation, as well as at the time of annihilation, your remembrance will continue by my mercy. Purport: By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Devotional service rendered to the personality of Godhead never goes in vain. Since the personality of Godhead is eternal, intelligence applied in His service or anything done in His relation is also permanent. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that such transcendental service rendered unto the personality of Godhead accumulates birth after birth, and when the devotee is fully matured, the total service, counted together, makes him eligible to enter into the association of the personality of Godhead. Such accumulation of God's service is never vanquished but increases till fully matured. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपवदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता शिविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
निर्विशेष
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवाषभानवी देवी दैत्याय कृपाब्दये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योजल प्रेमाढ्या श्रीरूपानुगा भक्तिदा गौरकरुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धव सिद्धान्त द्वान्दहारिणे नमो भक्ति गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजये ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगावराय ते गौराविर्भूमिस्तं निर्देष्टा सज्जनप्रिया वैष्णवसार्वभौमो श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः श्रीरूपा सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्रीजीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ एचाय घोषाय कोरि चरण बंदन जहाँ मोते विघ्नाश अभीष्ट पूरन वांछा कल्पद्रुवस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिगं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगल्पदे गोपेशा गोपिका कान्दा राधा कान्दा नमस्तुते जयदां सुहृदोपङ्गोर्मम मन्दमदे गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजो राधा मदनमोहनो दिव्यावृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदा श्रीमद्रत्नागरसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालभिसेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्रासरसारम्भी वंशीवडत्तडस्थितः कषण्मेरुस्वनैर्गोपी गोविनादश्येतुना तप्तकाञ्जनगौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हन्दास्मिन् जन्मनि भवान् मां द्रष्टुम् इहार्हति अविभक्तवशायाणां दुर्दर्शो विकुयोगिनाम्. O Narada, the Lord spoke, I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. Hare Krishna. So, by Lord's mercy, Narada was able to see the Lord, and his emotional ecstasy on seeing the Lord is described in the 17th verse. Prema bhidara nirbhinna pulagango adinirvuda ananda samplavelino na pashyat ubhayamune. So exceeding awed by feelings of happiness. Every part of his body became separately engaged, and in the Ananda play, this in external, he swayed because of this ecstasy and bliss. But then he couldn't see Krishna again after that. And then he was very, very distorted. He became very sad. And he tried to see again Lord by using the same process by which he could see the Lord first time. But it was not successful. So we can see that actually this is not a process that enable us to see the Lord. If that is so, it becomes very mechanical. You are given some process, you do it, practice it, and then you do it, it becomes sort of mechanical, it will not lead the desired result. Lord can be seen to only those persons to whom Lord allows him to see. So when the Lord becomes very pleased, he becomes very pleased by the service. So which means that it's not a process, but an intense desire on the part of the devotee to see him, which will give so much force, some intensity to his devotional service rendered by him. Automatically, he becomes very dedicated, very sincere, because his intelligence is fixed. This will appear in the next few verses. The intelligence is fixed, it is unchanging, undeviating on Krishna. Then the quality of service will be different than the quality which we are entering now in our sadhaka deha. So there are the acharyas distinguish between two types of bodies, sadhaka deha and siddha deha. Sadhaka deha is one which we are practicing. We are following the process under the instruction of the spiritual master. Fine, we have sincere also. But still we are not free from the modes of nature. Namely, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Predominantly, we are all in Rajogun. So, the first intention or the first step or the first goal should be to remain always in Sattva-guna. We have to completely extricate ourselves from the grip of this Rajogun and Sattva-gun, Rajogun and Tamogun. For that, we are doing the sadhaka. And those who are successful in their sadhaka, Krishna will remove this way of Rajogun and Tamogun. Because on our own, we cannot come out of this. We cannot be Gunatita unless Krishna sanctions. Again, it's always Krishna sanctioning. That is when in devotional service also, Krishna has to service and has to sanction. In all the yogas, Krishna's mercy should be there, especially in the Bhakti Yoga. Fine, you have the process, your Navada is there, you have all the process, all instructions from spiritual master. But unless we are favored by Krishna, you cannot achieve a goal. You achieve your the goal which you are set up, we set for ourselves. So the sadhaka deha is there in which we are rendering the devotional service. But because of the influence of modes, we are not able to see Krishna as he is. So the first step as we is to get into this Sattva-gun. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 25, verse 25. The chapter is the modes of nature, like we have in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is a 25th chapter of the 11th canto. So 11.25.25 says, Vanam tu sattigo vaso Gramo Rajasa Uchyade Tamasam Dhyudasadanam Madnigedam tu Nirgunam. Vanantu Satvigo Vaso. A residence in the forest is in the mode of goodness. Gramo Rajasa Uchyade. Residence in a town is in the mode of passion. And then Tamasam Dhyudasadanam. Residence in gambling house displays the quality of ignorance. Madnigedam tu nirgunam. The residence in a palace, in a place where I reside, is transcendental. So here you can see people in the Sattva in the mode of goodness, always leave their grihastha life and enter into the forest, which is called Vanaprastha. In forest, of course, it is full of wild animals, but then you are away from the societies where it is full of so many influence of societies, passion, ambition, material opulence, sinful activities. And when we are living a solitary life, and Krishna says also you have to live a solitary life of Ekanta Vasa. It is in which is the 13th chapter in the Jnana. Krishna says you have to live in a lonely place. Mahicha Ananya Yoga Bhakti Avivicate Vivikta Desha Sevittam. Verse number 11. Vivikta Desha Sevittam. Vivikta Desha means without any, far away from crowd. A solitary place. In Bhakti, in Dhyana Yoga also, it recommends the same thing. You have to live in a solitary place. So you are away from this material, this kind of very fast life. And you can see over long years in history, there are millions and billions of saintly persons have taken the forest to perfect their pursuit of self-realization. And it is said the purport of this verse is that even in Western countries also, philosophers like Thoreau, they achieve fame by retiring to forest. They also done that, but very few compared to Indians. Indians' way of life. Vanaprastha is one of the 3 ashramas, one of the 3rd ashrama, where you have to leave this grihastha ashrama and live in a forest. Of course, in Kali Yuga it is not possible, but other yugas used to be there. They will leave the forest, they leave the residence, household activities, and go to the Vanaprastha, especially the kings, Kshatriyas. So forest is very ideal for those who are in Sattva. But the Rajogan people, they live in the gambling house, which means race tracks, poker clubs, bars, everything. These are all called Dhyuda Sadanam. And that is for people in the low mode of ignorance. And in case of Rajogun, it's Grama. Grama means residence in villages, in one's own house. Family life is full of certain false pride, false hopes, false affection, lamentation, illusion, etc., etc., etc. So Grama means residence in the village, and Dhyudasadana means residence in gambling houses, race tracks, poker clubs, bars, etc. And these are enjoyed by people who are in the mode of ignorance. And Mandiketan refers to lords on a board. There is a temple. So those who are living in temple are free from the 3 gunas. That's why Srila Prabhupada very mercifully has set up lots of temples all over the world, 110 temples. Where he was saying 110 temples. Can you imagine a person who passes 70 years when he first came out to Western countries. And inside 11 years, he made 110 temples all over the world, so that people can come, stay in there, worship the Lord, do the sadhana very nicely, and achieve their Siddha Deha. That is Krishna Prema. Now, here, Narada actually is in forest now. That is why he's still not above the 3 modes. Krishna says that in this life, you will be able to see me only once, because I can be seen only if we are free totally from the material stains. Of course, Narada doesn't have not even an inch of material desire in him. Akinchana is actually Akinchana. Verse actually refers to Kuyoginam. Kuyogina means those who are adopting some other process than bhakti, and they think that they are free from all kinds of desires, material desires. But they are called Kuyoginam. They still have this material. Although they may be living forests for years together, still they are not free from material desires. And so for such persons, it's very difficult for them to see Krishna. Even if you're there for many, many lives, practicing for millions of years, you're not able to see Krishna face to face. But in case of Narada is not advised to remain in forest now. But in his life, he cannot see Krishna once again. In the next life, with his Siddha Deha, he can go all over the creations of the universe, of the world, both the spiritual kingdoms and spiritual planets and material planets. Sri Narada can go anywhere he desires. He can go just like that. That is the beauty of this Siddha Deha. It can go in the material planets, the spiritual planets. Those who are having the Sadha Deha, they are not able to go to spiritual planets. But those who are having Siddha Deha, they can go to spiritual planets, and if they desire, they can come and see and reside in material worlds also. Like Narada, he is there so many times. He visits the earth and other material planets. What is the purpose? For delivering the fallen souls. See, he travels and converts men, gods, Kinnara, Gandharvas, Rishis, Munis, etc. to become devotees of the Lord. You see, Srimad Bhagavatam full of devotees of Narada only. Starting from Priyavrta Maharaja, Dhruva Maharaj, Prajina Bahishit, Prachetadas, Prahlad Maharaj. So many devotees will find. They are all disciples of Srila Prabhu, Sri Narada. So Sri Narada is the greatest preacher, and that's why he is loved so much by the Lord. So this process, this Sankirtana movement, is above all the modes of material. So only those who are practicing this Sankirtana movement will be successful in seeing the Lord face to face. So the next verse, Krishna says, Sagadyadarshidam dhruvam edat kamaya tenagha mat kamashanagay sadhu sarvan munjadi hrichayan. O virtuous one, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desire for me. Because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. So Hrichaya means material desires. Normally Advaitavadis, especially Shankaracharya, will say that desire is material only. It is a product matter. So ultimately the soul is inert. If there is no desire, naturally there will be no activity. So the basic nature of salt is accepted by the Mayavadis as inert, without having any desires. And Shankaracharya, in one of his verses, he quotes from the 13th chapter, verse number 7, which describes the Kshetra, the 24 elements of the Kshetra, in which it is said that Icha, Desha, Sukham, Dukkham, these are all products of the mind only. Icha, Desha, Sukham, Dukkham. Desire, hatred, happiness, and distress, and transformation elements, transformation of the elements of the mind. These are from mind only. And so it is desire. This is the desires is material only. It is from product from this prakriti only. It is not a desire of the soul. So soul is basically desireless, and so that is inert. So there is no activity. So any activity is at the material plane, and so he considers devotion activity ultimately to be in the mode of matter. It is material only. But desires are transcendental also. Second. In Chandogya Upanishad 8.1.5, which describes the 8 qualities of the Atma, 2 qualities are Satya Sankalpa and Satya Kama. You know this verse, no? It is described. I think 2-3 times we have mentioned this. Yatma abhadapatma vijaro vimrutyu vishoga vijigitso abhipasha satyakama satya sankalpa is devoid of sin, is sinless. Vijara means ageless. Vimrutyu means deathless. Vishoga means without lamentation. Vijigitsa means without thirst, hunger. Sorry, Vijigitsa, hunger. Vipasha means without thirst. And then Satyakama and Satya Sankalpa. True resolve and true desire. So this is also a quality of the soul. And in Mahabharata, it is said that Imam Savam Bhagavado Vishnu Vyasena Kirtidam Padeya Iche Purusha Shreya Praptum Sukhani Cha. That Jiva who desires to attain the highest good and all types of happiness should read the glorification of Vishnu's chanted by Vyasa. He said that Imam Stavam, there is this glorification of Vishnu, Bhagavado Vishnu, Vyasena Kirtam, described by Vyasa, chanted by Vyasa. Ya pateya purusha, the jiva who reads it, ichhed with desire, shreya praptum, he attains the highest good. So the desire is ultimately from a desire from soul only. But when you are connected with the Prakriti, it appears to the mind. That's all. These qualities appears as the qualities of material mind and therefore are included in the components of the Prakriti, of the Kshetra. It is included in the 24 elements. But ultimately, this is from soul only. So soul is not inert. And Srila Prabhupada makes it very clearly. He is not a dead man. A living being cannot be vacant of desires. He is not a dead stone. He must be working, thinking, and feeling and willing. The quality of mind is thinking, feeling, and willing. But when he thinks, feels, and wills materially, he becomes entangled. And conversely, when he thinks, feels, and wills for service of Lord, he becomes gradually free from all entanglement. So this is the same thing. Param drishtva nivartate. Because when you are, the goal is Krishna. Krishna is totally devoid of matter. The first purport of this, first sentence of purport of 21st verse, it is that personality of Godhead is described in Bhagavad Gita as the most pure, the supreme, absolute truth. Siddhamaji, which is that verse? Parabrahma.
Param Dhama Paramam.
Pavitram. Paramam Bhavan.
Yes.
Param, yes, that is the 10th. Arjuna's realization. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashadam Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Vibhu. That is, he said that Param Dhama, and he Param Brahma, he is the supreme personality. Param Dhama is the body supreme. Pavitram, pure. Paramam is absolute. Purusham, he is the only Purusha. Shashwadam, Divyam. Divyam means divine, transcendental. Ajam Vibhu. So how same Rishya survey? That is not, it's not on my opinion, it's an opinion of all the realization of the great sages like Narada, Vyasa, Devala, Asida, etc. And you also describe yourself in this manner. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality, absolute, always situated in the internal potency. So when you are desiring for Krishna, that desire is eternal desire. Because you are eternally connected to Krishna, and to serve Krishna is a desire. Jivera Suruba Krishna Niti Dasa. That is why this is so much meaningful, this sentence, this declaration of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which says that Jivera Suruba Krishna Niti Dasa means the activity of the soul is to be the servant of Krishna, because it desires to serve Krishna. It all depends on the intent desire for serving Krishna, which is more important. So to increase that desire to serve Krishna and see Krishna, Krishna now says you'll be able to see me only once, and next life you'll be able to see me. Be my associate, not see me. Just like that, you will become my associate, eternal associate. You will all the time be able to be with me. At the same time, you'll be rendering the greatest service to me if you go around all the material worlds and taking all those fallen souls back to me. So Narada's, the greatest service to Krishna is that he is preaching all over the worlds, material worlds, being an eternal associate of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada says, you can always feel the presence of Krishna when you do the service to Krishna. And the best service to Krishna in Kali Yuga is chanting this holy name. So when you chant the holy name continuously 24 hours a day, then you are never satiated. In material thing, you are easily satiated. In economics, there's a theory called diminishing marginal utility. Because the utility derived, suppose you eat an apple or some laddu, very fine. The next laddu, okay, will not give you that much pleasure. The third laddu, even more, less also. And after that, you will see, sorry, that's enough for me. I don't want any more. The saturation point is achieved very early in material desires. But in the Krishna service, Shashtram says, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pradipadam Purnamasa Amradaswadanam. In every step. Yes, Snigdha Maji?
Yes, Prabhuji, Sikhyastakam.
Yes. The first verse. Anandambudi Vardhan. The sea, the ocean of bliss increases every second, and there is no saturation. Actually, there is no material desire in Narada, but just to increase his desire for Krishna, Krishna says that, okay, you can be associated with me in what we call in separation. It is called embankment separation, vipralambha bhava. The intensity will be much more in separation. That's why the devotees of Raja, gopis of Raja, feeling so much pleasure and intensity of while being separated from Krishna. When they were associated with Krishna, there was a lot of pleasure. But when they were separated from Krishna, the pleasure became even more. Same like this Mathura, Dwaraka run in the queens of Krishna. When Krishna was in Dwaraka, they were very happy. But sometimes Krishna will always go out of Mathura and visit Pandavas and other places. Then the queens will feel the pangs of separation. Same way, to increase the pangs of separation, Krishna says that you cannot see me again in this life. The next life you will have a Siddha Deha. So what is the advantage of fixing the service on Krishna is given in the next verse. Satya Seva Adhirgayabi Jada Amayi Dhramadi Hitva Avadyamimam Logam Gandha Majjanadamasi. By service of the absolute truth, even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence. Consequently, he goes on to become my associate in transcendental world after giving up the present deplorable material worlds. He says that Gandha Majjanam Asi becomes associate. It all started with the association of Narada with the saints who are very mercifully agreed to be with in their house for 4 months, Chaturmasi. That's the starting point we should always remember. So Narada achieved perfection in association with his sages. And because of the direction of devotional service, Narada could reach this level, attain this level. That's why Srila Prabhupada in his commentary says that serving absolute truth means rendering service into the absolute personality of Godhead under the direction of spiritual master, because on our own, we will not be able to serve Krishna as perfectly as it is required. Sometimes devotees have tendency to look beyond the words of a spiritual master. They feel that they are able to read the mind of the spiritual master, or they have a better knowledge. Those who are having this, they are deluded. I think 2 days back, I posted a post from Guru Dasa. He says you should not change anything Srila Prabhupada said, especially his books, his orders. You should not change anything. Srila Prabhupada has not changed anything that is turned from Acharyas, starting right from Naradaji up to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami. Whatever they have stated, he has given as it is to us. So we are also not supposed to change that. We can remain, okay, he started dictaphone. It's a measure example is dictaphone is given, but dictaphone only for speedy translation only. The contents are not changed, remain the same. It is a conduit. So Gurudasa says that we should be conduits of Srila Prabhupada only. We should not change anything. Gurudasa is one of the early devotees of disciples of Krishna, and his wife is Yamuna Mataji. You know Yamuna Mataji, a famous singer. She has sung a lot of Krishna songs along with George Harrison, especially our Darshanadi Kirtan. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. You heard that, no? Darshanarthi, we sing this. Snigdamaji, you know there? Okay. Virendamaji, you know this?
No, Prabhuji, I didn't hear this.
You not heard it. I'll share this.
Sure,
I'll share
Prabhuji.
that with you. It's a very famous song. This is Darshanarthi, you know Darshanarthi, after Mangalarthi, Narasimharthi, and Tulasi Arthi. And there is a 1 hour Japa session is there that goes up to 7 o'clock. Then for 7 o'clock start the Darshanarthi, then Guru Puja, and then Srimad Bhagavatam class. This is the order, the schedule in temples. So Darshanarthi comes at about 7 o'clock, and this song is sung at that time or played at that time. Nobody sings. The record is played. So Gurudas was his, he was a very foremost devotee of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and he has written few books based on his experience with Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. I mean, he's strongly against the book change. Book change is a very big issue in ISKCON. Book change means editing the book. Some editing, of course, spelling, sometimes dictaphone, sometimes pronunciation may be different. Srila Prabhupada, at times spelling mistakes may come. And like that, some mistakes will be there. Literary mistakes will be there, which can be corrected, no problem. But when you're altering the philosophy, and then it's become very serious. Sometimes those who are responsible for editing, they think that actually Srila Prabhupada meant this only, not that. And accordingly, they're changing according to their understanding of philosophy. But most of the times, they have not really understood what Srila Prabhupada said, because Srila Prabhupada will now say on his own, he will quote from the previous acharyas, mainly from Baldev Vidyabhushana. There are so many differences. Philosophical mistakes are there. In the 5th chapter, verse number, I think, 24. Yes, verse number 24. There's a change is there. And in verse 7.3, so 7th chapter, last verse, the purport has been changed. You have to see both the books. First book is the original Macmillan edition, original one. The next one is what is the BBT publication is they call it edited and enlarged. Some purports have been enlarged. It's called edited and enlarged. All these translations are based on this BBT publication only, which is edited and enlarged. We said that all the books of Srila Prabhupada, more than 5,000 changes are there from the original ones. This cannot be accepted. So the devotees, neophyte devotees especially, when they are trained from the spiritual master, like Narada was very fortunate to receive this training very early. He will be promoted to the transcendental world to become one of the liberated associates of Krishna. So the next verse extends that idea. Madhirmayi nibadhyeyam na vibhadyeda karhijit prajasarga nirodhevi smridischa madanugraha. Intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time, even at the time of creation as well as at the time of annihilation. Your remembrance will continue by my mercy. So in verse number 14, chapter 14, verse number 2 is given, Imam jnanam upashritya Mama sadharmyam agada sargevi novajayande pralayena vyatindisha. Those who attained qualities similar to mine, by realizing this knowledge through Guru, do not take rebirth in this world, and do not experience pain at the time of death. So even if they are in the material world also, they do not feel the pains of the birth or death. Why? Because he is now at par qualitatively with Krishna. And why? Because intelligence fixed. His intelligence is fixed. And such intelligence will never go in vain. Verse number 2.40 makes it very clear. Swalpamapi dharmasya trayade mahodobhayad. Verse number 2.40. Starting off this Buddhi Yoga, Krishna says, Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo Anavidyade Swalpamavi Asidharmasya Trayed Mahalabhaya. In this process, there is no loss by incomplete performance, and so no sin is incurred by imperfection in performance. One is protected from birth and death even by practicing a little of this process. So, even if it is not perfect also, if it is also, it will not become incomplete. Or even if incomplete also, there will be no loss. Because it always accumulates. Suppose in this birth, we could achieve only 5%. This 5% is counted in the next birth. And then in that next birth, suppose you are being 20%, then becomes 25%. And like that, everything accumulates. And finally, you get this realization. In other processes, whatever you achieved in this present life, it will not be retained in the next life. Especially in case of material things. If you're accumulating a lot of fortune in this life, you're not able to take it back at the time of death. No, there's no guarantee that you'll be born in a very rich family. So, there's absolutely no loss at all in rendering devotional service to Krishna. It is always plus, plus, and plus. Srila Prabhupada, total service counted together makes him eligible to enter into association of personality Godhead. So it is accumulated. And why so? How so? Mad Anugraha. Your remembrance, Smridischa Mad Anugraha, your remembrance of Krishna, myself. Because you are rendering devotional service, you remember Krishna, and that remembrance will stay with us. That becomes an impetus for additional service, enhanced, more dedicated or more intense service because of remembrance of Krishna. That's why there's a gradation between the devotees also. Some may be very, very intense. That shows because he has rendered service, very good service in the previous life. The more service you have done in the previous life, more intense will be your devotion in this life. Then soon you will reach the point where you are shed of all these material contaminations, and you'll get a special liberation from this material world with attachment to lotus feet of Krishna. This is called vimukti, not mukti. Mukti means mere liberation only. Vimukti means liberation plus attachment to lotus feet of Krishna. So only devotees are able to get. Advaitavadis may get mukti, but not vimukti. These are the small prerogative of devotees because of mercy of Sri Narada, Srila Prabhupada, and others. So we are very fortunate to be in this parampara. So we have to make a best use of it by intensifying our efforts. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji.
No questions. Okay, right. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpadrubhescha.
Kribas Devacha, Nanam Pavanebhyo, Vishnuvebhyo Namo Namaha.
Nandakodi Vaishnava ki jai. Shri
Jai.
Bhagavan.